Hello, hello, welcome back to Transport Fever 2, where we're on our Trains-Only challenge playthrough. And it's been a little over a month since we last played, so let's do a quick overview of everything we've done recently. Most of it has been putting these ring railroads around the cities so that we can have the people who live there go back and forth and then connect to this thing around the outside of the map, which, as of the last stream we did, is a complete circle. It goes to all the cities around the outside. And there's a few in the interior that have essentially had nothing done to them, and I don't know exactly what I want to do about that. Well, suffice to say, we've got plenty to do, and also all of these ring railroads are using this same ancient diesel multiple unit, because I'm on the US train pack, and that's the only thing like that that exists. And you can't get these anymore, so if I want to have any more of these in any other cities, I have to duplicate them, and then they have to go around the main high-speed line to get to these other cities. So, not a great solution, but we'll see what we can do. Nice to catch you live. Hope you're doing well. I can't really complain. I'm glad to be able to finally have a little bit more time to get back into doing things that are not just beavers. So hopefully you're doing nice as well, and we'll look forward to having some fun today with this. Yeah, a lot of these I don't have any cargo going to either, which is possibly going to cause some issues. 'Cause I admittedly have not done a whole lot of thinking about what I'm doing here. We got this quote-unquote New York City in the middle of the map here that's been kind of a terrible design for basically this entire playthrough, but I don't know that I can really redo it without just completely demolishing everything. We do have a passenger line that's going through. Wow, that looks absolutely horrible. Oh, that's a metro liner that's super old. That's exactly what that is. This line goes all the way up to here, Concord, and then it goes all the way over to, I believe, where's Vancouver in this? Yeah, it goes over there. So this, in theory, should be a really, really good passenger route, but it's going incredibly slowly. What are we sending to New York? Okay, machines, and that's essentially it. I have been playing on a different save that's a much smaller map, just to try and figure out some of the efficiency mechanics or whatever, and that one I've been able to have some pretty good success with using these hub-type stations like what we built here. These are all touching so that, of course, they can all share materials, and I've got all the major factories going in and then slowly starting to put lines going to each individual city. Finally finished watching the series, now I can watch the stream. Glad you caught up. Not a whole lot to really watch on the VODs for most of these, because I spent a lot of time talking to chat, so I'm glad you stuck through it to get caught up with everything. So, I don't really remember everything that I had been working on, so I'm going to be poking around probably for most of this to see what we can figure out. The goods are annoying to make because you have to have steel and then also this plastic. There is a goods factory very close to the hub, which is nice. But the main issue with that is, how do we get the refined oil into, I believe they call it a chemical plant. And I don't exactly remember. Aha! There's an oil refinery all the way down here. And then I think the closest chemical plant is the other side of the map, maybe? That's the problem with playing. Yeah, we have one of these right here, this chemical plant over here in Chattanooga. And then there's one up here. But there isn't an oil refinery super close to any of these. I guess technically this counts. So we could have a straight line here to here to here. But I don't think there's enough other oil wells nearby to make this really worthwhile. But it would be something. We do have this right here that is going underground and coming out where? Here. That comes out here and it goes into this refinery And we aren't even shipping everything out of there. Huh. Has this disappeared yet? How many days? It has 109 days. I don't have an oil well near enough for this to be a big deal for that to go away. So I think probably what would be a smart decision for us at this exact moment in time would be to try and get some of these oil wells that aren't doing anything to go into a chemical plant. So, I mean, I've got, what, $4.2 billion in the bank? I think we can manage to do this. Let's hit pause just because that's how my brain operates. We need to have, for this, probably a through station. I want this to be, let's say 4 tracks. Let's just prepare for that. I want maximum length. We'll do high speed. Because even though, yes, this is a cargo station, we do eventually get access to freight equipment that can do 99 miles per hour, and the speed limit on regular standard track in this game is like 75. So, yeah, we're gonna have to be careful about this. I think I'm going to have to have this come out on like an angle so I don't cross over the wrong side of the tracks here. So let's just do this. Let's come out to like right here. And then, yeah, see what that does? That's just going to be so much easier to deal with. And then, of course, we don't need roads because where we're going, we don't need or care about roads. This one theoretically only needs to be a single track because that just has to connect into this. I think it probably doesn't really matter exactly what angle this goes on, but I do want it to be, you know, not completely stupid. Let's just get this, see what I can get this to attach to. There we go. Alright, so that, of course, is going to get hooked up immediately to this far outside track. We see we have that lovely 186 mile per hour speed limit. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to see a freight train going 186 miles per hour, but the game seems to not care, so we won't care either. Get rid of these roads. Nobody cares about these. We're not using these things anyway. Oh, and then this can just get completely removed from here. Those are high-speed tracks with the concrete guideway. Yeah, just make that look a little bit better. This is going to be another one of those scenarios where we have to have this come through here. And I think it's not going to want to let me do that, so we'll go there. And then we'll have to have this come all the way, and I do mean all the way around the outside. Just way far away. Let's see what this is going to want me to do. We'll go into here. Let's just check and make sure this doesn't look completely stupid. That's fine. So now I've got 2 of these oil wells feeding into this refinery, which is going to give us what needs to go into the chemical plant, which will be down here, and this is already completely disconnected. So I also need to be mindful of where this is going to go into a goods factory. So this comes right around the outside here. Where is the closest goods factory that I'm going to be utilizing? I don't actually know. Okay, there's one over there. There's another one over there. There's nothing on this entire side of the map, so this is going to get interesting. Well, what we can do is we can have this come through here, then we can send it underground, then we can bring it up to... Wow, there's 3 of them right here. If I want this to connect to the main hub, I do have options to expand this, so this may actually be what we want right here. This might be our ticket. So I'm going to say this needs to be yeah, let's just make this 3 tracks. I think that's going to make the most sense. We do want this to go above the river here. I don't think it's going to care. And I don't think I can adjust height on this. There might be a way to do it. I just don't remember what it is. So I'm just going to move this back. Actually, you know what? No, we are going to utilize the roads because this is an option that we have presented to us. And I'm just going to extend this a tiny bit and then come back here. Yeah, that's going to give us a much better chance of actually, you know, clearing the river there. So what has to connect into this is not only the chemical plant, but it also needs steel. And we do happen to have an unused steel mill here. We do have unused coal. I don't see unused iron in this general area, so I might not use that. We're using this one. This is a short platform. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is basically maxed out. This here might actually be overloaded. No? Okay, not quite. But that is doesn't have enough extra for us to really be able to do anything with it. So I'm gonna have to find another steel mill to be able to use here. I've got some steel coming into the machines factories. Man, this gets very difficult with a large map with a lot of industries because then everything's just kind of fighting for the ability to exist. Regardless, though, we can get this set up, and I'm pretty sure I can be fine with... I probably don't need a 4-track thing here, but I guess we'll just leave that be. So now I've got this coming in here, this coming in here. I only need 1 for the time being. I'm going to go on this inside track in case I want to connect to something else later. I don't need this to connect to the outside. Ha! There is no chance it allows me to build this. Like, seriously? There's no way. There's no way. I feel like it's going to let me, though, so I'm not going to try it, because then that could cause some very annoying problems. So now if I bring this up to, say, right about here, I do want to try and maintain as much speed as I can. 94. Okay, well, eventually when I get my 99 miles per hour, I don't want that to be a bottleneck, so we'll go for that. Yes, floating track. It's what everybody wants to see when they're, you know, operating a freight train filled with crude oil. Is, you know, hanging off the side of the planet. That's a great idea. Okay, so that's taken care of, minus the actual trains themselves. And there is an oil well here that we could tie into this if we felt so inclined. You know what? You know what? Because I can't resist doing this kind of stupid nonsense to myself, let's just preemptively take care of this here. I'm going to get this to right about here, and then I'm going to disconnect this from here. We are going to send that. First of all, get that connected into... What do you mean collision? What are you collisioning with? There should be nothing with which to collide. Alright, well, I guess I have to... There's something there I didn't want to take care of. Okay. 114's fine. This can be co-opted into what we are doing here. Let's just get rid of these roads because I don't like looking at them and they're ugly. Yeah, nobody cares about whatever this is anyway. Okay, so now this is not going to go through this station because it can't. Doesn't really matter. So that's going to come through here. It's going to be probably going... I could actually send this one over the top. So to that effect, let's go... I'll just keep this two tracks because there's not really a reason not to. Let's just check our alignment here. That's going to come in from that way, which means this probably should be about here. Make sure that turns white, and it does. Okay, so now this has to come up and over. Well, we don't care about our little road here because, well, where we're going, we don't care about... Oh, there's a... there's a steel mill right here! Oh, but there's nothing nearby. Okay, that's, Well, I've got this. This is a lot easier when you have trucks. we'll just say that. Well, if that were to go... Where am I trying to up here? Okay, that might not actually be that good. Well, okay, that's Chattanooga to Port St. Lucie. They got a train connection, but they get really mad when you get rid of their roads for some reason. So I will just have to continue doing this. Let's go up. No, let's go up and over. So I don't want this to be a huge ordeal. Have that go down. I really don't think this matters very much, but... Oh, it's going to let me do that, really? I don't want the pylon to be, like, in the track, though. So that is, that's going to require that I adjust this slightly. Let's come over here. I don't want that to be the stone bridge. Why does this move this so much closer? Come on. Don't be like this. We don't have to live this way. We can choose better options. Yeah. This is where it'd be really nice to have like a nudge tool in this game. And that is too close. Okay. Well, I guess this is alright. I just needed it to cross the plane there. Alright, so that is tolerable, we'll say. And then this just has to get connected all the way up to here. And now, that goes all the way into this track, and I have 3 oil wells going in here, which I believe is the maximum that can support. Okay. So, now I just have to get from here all the way over to... Can't you excavate before you put the bridge to make it longer? You know, I probably could. I almost never use the terrain tools in this game because I'm kind of afraid of them. Oh, that's going to clip and it's going to be that's going to be annoying. But since you asked, I have to remember how this actually works. Yeah, I don't think it's going to let me actually move this right now. But I might be able to if I hit a little delete button there. I might be able to kind of coax the terrain in a manner that's going to allow that to work. Let's go... Let's connect this. And definitely don't want that. Truss bridge... It always wants to place this as close to the track as possible. Like, why are you like this? Don't do that. And that's not actually any better. Well, we'll just pretend not to look at it. Oh, I don't want to mess with this outer ring thing, because that took me way too long to put in. Okay, before I forget, let's get this set up. Oh, I remember I have to name all this stuff. Okay, let's just do this. Let's call this Chem Plant Oil Well 1, so I remember what I've done. This is Chem Plant Oil Well 2. Then we have the third one here. Goes into there. And then I need here to here. Refined oil supply. That seems idiot-proof enough. I believe Transport Fever 3 is going to be a lot better in a lot of ways. I've seen a whole lot of people talking about, well, the people that they allow to go to the preview events and stuff have had a lot of good stuff to say, which I guess is kind of the whole purpose of those things. They're just PR events. But I am still pretty excited about it. Now, if I've got the plastic coming in on this track and I have it go underground, I do have other stuff underground I need to keep an eye out for. But that is going to have to come all the way up to here. Alright, well, no better time than the present to attempt to get this up and running. So we'll go down, down, down. That gets us underground here. I don't want it to just be continuously going down, so I suppose I could have this kind of flatten out. I think that's that curve is probably fine. Yeah, 90. No. I see that was at 100, or not 99. I need to absolutely make sure that all of these are at least 100. No, I want it underground. Why are you like this? Why are you know, after I specifically said how much I was enjoying doing this, I need you to calm down and just allow me to do this. Can you do me that kindness? Can you do me that kindness? Okay, 105, that's gonna work. Okay, so now this is going to over here, and this is actually only needing to go here. Alright, well that's fine. This is super far underground, this thing over here. So, no, I didn't want this to come up above the ground. I did not want that. I did not want that. I want you to stay underground. Or I guess if it really absolutely has to be coming above ground like this, then I guess that's about all I can do. That's all 186. That's fine. No, don't come above ground. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you're like obsessed with doing stupid garbage. Just hold it together for like 5 seconds. Can you do that for me? Okay, so that's coming up over here. I need this to just make its way over here, as long as it's not going to be a huge, ridiculous piece of garbage. That is quite far underground. Okay, that's probably fine still. This is also underground here, and I don't know what kind of height it is. I think it's higher. Okay, I do not want this to intersect. I don't know how much more strongly I must emphasize that I do not want these to intersect. Okay. See, that's fine. Let's bring this back up a little bit. And that does have to come up over here. I also have this kind of in the way. Okay, those are on different planes. Yes, I am almost completely certain those are on different planes. Alright, so now this can actually come up above ground, and it's most likely going to need to. What if I come up like this? Okay, now we are at ground level. Come out of the little tunnel right there. I watched the City Planner Plays video. And I am very optimistic about it. Phil is the kind of person that I almost completely trust to have good, measured opinions about things. And I think, based on what he said, we can be pretty confident that this is going to be a very, very good game. I did apply to be in the content creator program for it, but obviously since I am essentially nobody to 99% of the internet, I'm not expecting to actually be included in anything, but it sure would be nice. $3 million a mile, yep, it's just like building public transit in the US. It's almost impossible. So that's connected. Let's get this line done. So that's going to be plastic to the doohickey factory, the goods factory. Let's call this plastic to goods Akron in case I make another one. Glad to be part of the 1%. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I really do. I say it all the time, and I fear that sometimes it loses its potency, but truly you've made a tremendous, tremendous positive impact in my life. I'm genuinely very, very thankful for each and every one of you. So I've got a track here I can actually just go ahead and dial in. Yeah, because that's not connected to anything. So that is going to go straight. Oh, these are all standard low-speed tracks. What a shame. Yeah, most of my freight tracks are low speed. That's going to be annoying to retrofit later. Well, that's a deep subject. That is going to be this track, probably not the best option. We'll go to here. That needs to be a normal thing. Well, coming into a station, you're not going to be going full speed anyway, so I guess that's fine. And I don't have anything that's going faster than 75 anyway, so we'll roll with this. We'll roll with this. And then we have to make a line that goes from there to there. We're going to call this, what did I name the rest of these? I did not do a good job with this. I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to adopt the naming scheme that I used in my off-camera playthrough. So that's goods to the hub. That is what that is going to be. Hello, hello. Oh yeah, I don't have in terms of museum line, I'm not gonna get that achievement because I don't have things from the first couple of eras that have survived. I have Big Boy, I've got this EP2, and then that's basically it from anything before, well, and then these M300s. So I'm definitely not going to get that achievement in this run. So that's going to be a disappointment, but is what it is. Can I get this track to connect? No. That's not happening. So I'm going to need to, this is always the most annoying part about doing any of this, is getting the actual trains on the tracks. But I also don't have any, I don't have any steel coming in here yet, which I need to rectify immediately. That's in use. I've got here. Do I actually want this to go into this one, or do I want it to go into the other one? I guess it doesn't matter if I have this coming out of the ground. I thought about maybe using this, because I do have... Okay, there's a couple other things that have not been used up here. But before I get too comfy with all of this, I do need to get trains actually running on all of these things. So, now the really fun part happens. And by really fun part, I mean the excruciatingly painful annoyance of actually getting trains connected to all of this. So, I'm going to have all of these lines connect to each other in ways that are going to permit this to actually connect, and that's not happening. I didn't need to put the crossover this far up. Okay, so now this has to come out. Oh, that's actually gonna work? No way. Okay. So then this can go to here. And that should, based on how this is set up, allow me to get to almost every track. I just need to put in a little bit here. I just need to make sure that all these lines are actually going to the correct platforms before I connect much of anything else. I think having the lines defined before I connect all the tracks together probably makes it a whole lot easier to ensure that I'm not going to make any horrific mistakes with this. So those are all connected. Alright, so we need, for the entire half of this that's... why are you blaming Kurt? It's not Kurt's fault. I'm sure if we wanted to, we could find something to blame him for, but... let's see. It is 1985. Very nostalgic year for 2005 pop punk, but I've got the 75-mile-per-hour tank cars. I've been trying to use electrics, but the GG1 is fine. That's a passenger locomotive. You're not doing freight with that. Somehow, in 1985, I can still purchase a big boy. He distracted you in the upgraded trains. Okay, well, if that's what happened, then I'm absolutely certain we could blame him for that. SD40-2, that is too slow. 65 miles per hour is not going to cut it. You know, running toasters with all this other stuff is actually objectively kind of funny. It's kind of high operating cost. Well, since I don't have the ability to do much of anything else, I guess we'll just do a GG1, because why not? And then I need to have tank cars. We'll go for 180 capacity. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Yeah, the New Haven's kind of nice, but it doesn't have the tractive effort of the GG1. This is a monstrous locomotive. Yeah, so we'll go for 4 of these. Why is this train 6, train 16? I must have deleted a train 6. Anyway, so now I've got, what did I name this again? I do not remember what I named these lines. That's a problem. Okay, Chem Plant Oil Well. Then we'll watch these all just roll out. Oil Well 3. And then the Chem Plant Refined Oil Supply. That should... Why does this have diesel smoke? This is an electric locomotive. Excuse you. Don't honk at me. What? Okay. Hello, hello. We can't make anything at the goods factory quite yet until we have all of this situated, which is why I'm sending these guys out first. Okay, so that's going to go... Okay, that's fine. That's going to go out to this other one that's already on that track. That's on that track. And then this is going to go to... Very good. Very good. It's actually working. This is rare that this works this well. The first time. Is that 2 Metroliners connected together? Is that what I've done for these? I'm just going to have to assume yes. I did. I got an achievement for, it's called Trans-Siberian Railway, which said have 400 kilometers of track in a game. I forgot it doesn't do the overlay for stream. It just shows up on my monitor. So that is operating. Now we just need to get the steel mill going. This, of course... What the heck is... Oh, okay, no, this was... Was this... Is this this? I don't actually remember what this was for. Okay, I'm sure that won't be a problem later. I'm gonna have to do... I'm gonna have to do some sort of kind of stupid nonsense here. Okay, the steel mill has the expansion area over here that hasn't been taken care of yet, so we can can use that to our advantage. Okay, so there is a road that I detest here. That can go away. These dirt roads from like 1868 BC. There we go. Let's get that out of here. And then I think I can slightly rotate this. Yeah, let's move this back. There. That is how many tracks? 2? I need more than 2 tracks. I need... Well, in theory, I only need 3. Because I need the export track. So, what's going to have to happen here is I'm going to have to come up... see, this is going to be it's going to be an interesting problem to solve. So I've got to connect to this. This is going to require I build a road. And then bring it around. I always cut this corner just slightly too short. Okay, I'm never going to be able to tolerate looking at that. Okay, let's go for that. And then go for that. That's going to connect fine, and I think I may be able to thread the needle to go through here, but it's probably going to end up being... Maybe I should have put this on the other side. Yeah, I'm thinking I need to put this on the other side. Yeah, that's just going to be enormously easier. Okay, let's bring that to here. Yeah, because then I don't have to worry quite so much about the tracks being impossible to get around anywhere. Because this is going to have to be... This is going to be the export track. As I bring this straight here. It's actually not as bad as I would have thought. I just need this to cross... I need that to go there, which means this is going to come through here. So I can actually have this be slightly diverted here, and then if I cross over this bit, I want to go up, There we go. This is just hilariously overkill. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. Fantastic job, game. Please always do that. Okay, let's... Oh, I didn't want to get rid of the tree, but I guess I just did. I suppose I've got to just bring this up to here. I don't want this to be this close and be that high. So I think here is probably about as far as I want that to go. I want that to connect to here. This obviously has to be the concrete guideway. And I want this to go down. That's not going to work. Okay. If I extend this, I need to make sure that I can actually get this back down again without it being a... There we go. Okay, where's my... Okay, that's going to peel off that direction. If I have this come through here, it'll be a little easier. Let's curve this. It's astounding how quickly that turns into you can't do this territory. Alright, so that was the hard part. Let's get this just attached right next to it. All the way out. Dual track viaduct. And then this has to go down. I want that to just be straight and level. I've made worse. I've definitely made worse. I don't know that I'm ever going to use this farm, but I shouldn't get rid of it if I don't have to get rid of it. So let's keep this about... I don't think I can actually do anything at 125 miles per hour in this game with freight traffic. So I'm just going to leave that alone. This is not an essential road, but I'm going to leave it alone anyway. Yeah, there we go. Now what I can do is I can come over here, and I can undo everything that I already did and just rebuild this to be slightly different. Match the curvature there. Alright, let's call that good enough. I need my... actually only one track. We know that's not going to be a problem. Okay. So now this is slightly misaligned, but we'll call that close enough for government work and move on. So that is good to go there. I just have to get this connected here. There is a mountain in the way. How rude. A single, okay, I definitely want that to come around this other side. This isn't, this is the road I said I should have gotten rid of earlier, and I didn't, and now I get to pay the price for that. Alright. So that goes away. I will leave it in front of there just in case. Then this right here has to become our train station. Let's turn this a tiny bit more. And then this should be pretty much straight. There we go. I will consider that to be a rousing success. Alright, so now I've got one each, iron and coal. We may run into some problems supplying this. On parallel to the commuter loop. Here? No, I want them to be able to expand here. Although I should probably check and see who owns what roads. When I go to actually upgrade these. So if I own all of these roads, that might explain why they're not actually expanding anything. I want them to be able to actually do stuff. Like expand. Oh, there's no building on this. See, I'm getting distracted now. Oh, no, the buildings aren't going to match. Oh, I hate that. I don't like that at all. Oh, well, life goes on. Cities are ugly sometimes. That's going to be a little close. How about this? No. Alright, so instead I'll just have to do one of these numbers. Why are you like this? What is that even going to? Oh, that goes to the farm. Nobody cares about the farm. Get out of here. So now, I had been very careful to make sure that is not player owned. So I've got a connection there, and then I really should have done something about that a long time ago, but I didn't. So oh, come on. This has like the worst possible placement for this stuff. Ugh. That does genuinely irritate me. Oh well, life goes on. Get that connected here. And I guess I could have this go like that. Anyway, the point behind having the whole commuter loop was so that it could expand beyond the regular limits of the town. This also does not have... This does not have freight service, but I did put this in place with the idea of putting in freight service. Okay, anyway, I need to put in lines for the supply of things. We're going to call this iron to steel goods. And then this is coal. Okay, so that solves that problem. And then I have to have a... Well, it doesn't solve the problem because the train's not running on it yet. Alright, what am I supposed to do about this? That's got to come out to here. So let's build backwards. That seems to be easier anyway. I'll have this go across the river in pairs with this, and then this can go... Is this the one I was actually building to? Yes. This is going to have to divert here and then start going down. Why is that still a trench? Why is that still a trench? That should absolutely not be a trench. Okay, I just have to move this far enough. We'll call that good enough. I don't want it to keep going down. No, no, no. There we go. So now this has to go all the way out to come up here, which means I did not need to go and turn this. I actually wanted this to go completely straight. Okay. So that is going to go... No! Can I seriously not... Ah, because now it thinks I want to go back above ground. That is not the case. That will not... I can't go underneath the coal mine? What kind of nonsense is that? I'm sure there's an actual, like, decent scientific reason why that's not a good idea, including but not limited to, you know, it's a coal mine, so it goes underground. But it's more fun to just be ignorant. Let's have that come back up. That's fine. I need to make sure I don't cross over anything I don't want to cross over. That goes that way. I need to have that coming out here. So, bring this over to this side. I think I can go under this. Too much slope. I'm not asking for slope. Aha. There we go. Okay, so that's 148. Yeah, we've created I say we as if any of you would have ever chosen to do this in such a stupid manner. We've created kind of a monster in terms of the underground stuff here. And it's a little terrifying, not gonna lie. Just need to make sure I can connect to that, which means this is going to be going all the way over here. Now, if I raise this up, am I going to create any conflicts? Survey says no. Okay, and then that can just come up here. Except somehow it thinks this needs to be on the surface of the Earth, and that is not the case. Okay, so that's 178. That should be fine. Now I can have this come up, and that can connect to right there, and then it goes underground. Alright, that was incredibly stupid, but guess what? If it's stupid and it works, then it's still stupid, but at least it works. Alright, good. Glad we had that talk. That's going to be... We're going to call this steel to goods. Okay. Now, both of these and this line are going to require trains. So, it's time for everybody's favorite song. That's right. We have to connect all of this nonsense together. No, no, not like that. There we go. All right. Then this gets connected right there. So, the goods factory is going to have to go between here and here is going to have to be a what do you call it? What kind of freight car is that? Well, I guess we'll just have to look. I guess it is GG1 era for us here. Goods go in. Oh, they go in a boxcar. Of course they do. Let's say for right now, I'm going to want this to be as high capacity as possible, and I've got cash to just absolutely light on fire. So, this gets... I haven't named any of these trains either. That's fine. I'm not going to bother. Goods to hub is what this is going to be. Just go back and forth and back and forth. Well, this is... you know what? This is a short enough route. It probably doesn't need to have that much capacity. Well, I guess that's going to be okay. Now I need to have... oh, good. The plastic, I can actually use this same thing. So that is going to be... no. Did I actually call that plastic to hub, or did I make a mistake? Plastic to goods. Okay. Well, that's that same thing we're doing there. Now I need steel, which goes on the flat car with the side stakes. We'll call that 180 capacity. And that can go to... did I name it something smart? I named it steel to goods. Okay, well that's going to have to be good enough. Yes, thank you, autosave. I don't have any tea, but I do have a beverage. That is not tea. So that's going to go there. That's going there. Now I think, did I put in trains over here? I think the answer to that question is no. So, you know what that means. It means I have to put another depot in. So that's going to go... Yeah, that's just going to be the easiest way to do it. Alright. And, of course, iron and coal go in these... Oh, I gotta get my GG1 back. They go in the gondolas. Not gondola. Gondola is the boat. Gondola is the railroad equipment. So what did I call this? Coal to steel for goods, and then I should have iron to steel for goods. So, I believe, at this point... Oh, no, it's not alcohol. It's vanilla Coke, but it's not tea. I actually don't think I have any adult beverages currently. I think this should, in theory, now complete our whole thing for... Why is that the sound for the chemical plant? It's like a cartoon kissy sound. Alright, well, let's wait and see what we can get going here. So this oil refinery is doing oil refinery things. That's going to be fine. And then this here... Obviously, there's nothing going on right now, but it should, in pretty short order, be taking care of that. And since everything's going to the same hub, any of these cities that want to have goods can now demand it from the hub as soon as it shows up. Oh, there's actually plastic here. Nice. So that's actually gone much faster than I thought. But there's no steel on this because we haven't actually started making steel yet. I have never once, playing this game, even considered maintenance. I have just never bothered. Let's check and see. Maintenance. It all says normal. Some of the conditions are very, very bad, but wow, this one's 69 years old. Last I checked, the mixed freight going to each city did have the required cars to handle things. I don't know that any of the cities have requested goods yet, except some that don't actually have... Oh no, that does have a mixed freight going to Billings. Let's see this train if we're going to get any steel coming in, because that is that's what's going here. And I've got the plastic, you know, all lined up. We'll check on that in a little bit. There we go. Now I got some steel. This is going to take 1 billion years to get here, isn't it? Yeah, we almost certainly do not need this to have so many cars on it. We might actually adjust that. But the earnings are going to be kind of wonky for a while because it automatically deducts like the full cost of whatever you're doing instead of amortizing it. So it takes it a while to get set back up. We should see that pop out of that tunnel in just a moment. Thank you, autosave. Well, I guess I was wrong about where that was. Oh well, life goes on. But now would be a great time for this to come out so I don't have to sit here and wait for another 20 minutes. There we go. And we see our steel at the very front of that train there. Going to come in here, and then we should see this kick into action pretty quick. There we go. There's all that steel in the yard. And then before too long, this guy here should have something to actually pick up. And good. 7 goods. So now we're going to see, I guess I can get rid of these. Which cities that actually have connections are going to demand goods? Hollywood is demanding goods. The train going to Hollywood does have boxcars that are, well, it's empty because it's, well, it's on the way back. So we'll see how this fills up. 3 boxcars means I have 3 different types of goods that can be carried. And then I have the building materials. So I see, it looks like we had 2 of the boxcars filled with tools and 1 filled with machines. So what that means is I can add another 2 boxcars, say to the end there. And that is probably going to end up being filled with goods. But we'll see what it grabs. So I do also have... Oh, I forgot I did this. This is horrible. This should have been an overpass like 8 days a week. But we'll check on Billings, because I know Billings was a... Who designed this? This is horrible. Billings was one of those places that had asked for goods. But I do want to see how much this picks up. It looks like there's a couple that have been diverted to there. We're about to get some more dropped off. But again, it'll share for all of these, and there's some waiting there. All right, how many goods are you picking up? Wow, 25. Okay. Well, that's fine. This will tell us where it's going. Vancouver. Vancouver wants to have goods. Well, if it's routing it there, that means it actually has the ability to do it. And there is no... There's no goods on this one, despite the city wanting goods. Okay, so I guess that just means they didn't have enough to send out. Let's go back to Vancouver. Let's wait for the train. See what it's actually got on board. There we go. Oh, cool. It's got goods. And it has extra space because it has the empty defaulted to plastic, so we know we're okay there. And I don't know who else has goods as a demand. So Akron does, but they're not getting anything right now. I don't think I have a freight train going there. We already see Billings there. Concord, I do not believe has any freight connection. Flint does, but it does not have goods. It will. It should have the freight taken care of that, unless I just had a direct connection to the machines factory. Milwaukee. Where is Milwaukee anyway? Oh, it's over here. There is no connection whatsoever to Milwaukee. Okay. That seems like a later problem. New York City. The train going to New York City should have all of the stuff required to do that. We'll just... maybe. New York City might not have a connection to the hub, now that I think about it. Because this is... yeah, this is machines going exclusively to New York City. That does not need to be... that does not need to be how this is set up. But that is a mess to try and reconfigure, and I don't want to do that. I already talked about Milwaukee. I think I have this one set to where each city only demands 4 types of goods. You can go up to 6. Port St. Lucie has nothing going for it. San Diego! San Diego seems like a city that could absolutely stand to have some goods sent their way. And that does have a track here. I just need to find the train. I think it could probably use another couple boxcars on it. Just need to wait for that to come up. This doesn't actually have a connection here, does it? Okay, I don't see a train, so what I'm gonna do... side entrance. That's not gonna work. Okay. So mistakes were made with the design of this, but this is so close I don't think it really matters. Alright, where's my San Diego Mixed Freight Express? Is that what you are? Yes. Ah! You don't have enough cars. Let's just go ahead and add 3 more. That should take care of that on the return trip there. And... okay, so that's fine enough there. Yeah, see, this is a mess. I don't have a good way to undo this, just because of where I placed the station here. Yeah, all of the cargo stuff is on this side of the city because, well, that's where the station is. Maybe, depending on how much I hate myself. Where's this going? Machines, okay. I could have this go through the mountain here and then go straight to the hub. That's probably the better way to do it. But there's so many buried tracks here. It would probably be a pain. See, all of these have different connections. Oh, this doesn't actually go anywhere. Okay. Now, am I going to be... no. Am I going to be in an okay position if I just say, let's figure this out. That's going to come down. Okay, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want... I do not want a level crossing here. Although, that's 2 passenger lines. I could put a signal there. It's probably going to have to be what I do to make this a viable thing. That is 57. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this down this way. Try to make as much of a gap as I can here. See, if I have this come up... oh, you know what? This actually would not be the worst thing that's ever been done. Okay, but it doesn't like me taking over this road. Why is this construction not possible? Okay, that road is about to be obliterated in the name of progress. Let's get this train line out of here. Okay, so that is severe. Okay, I wanted that to track. Ha, get it? Track, because it's a train. Is that going to connect to anything else? No, it is not. Alright, this coming through here, I can connect to the hub pretty easily. And they can share tracks. Oh, these aren't even being used. I got so many tracks that aren't being used. That is convenient. So I want to come over here. I definitely want to do that. And it's just a freight train, so it doesn't have to follow too much else. And that is going to cut a huge... no, I do not want that to be an ancient stone viaduct. Are you insane? So this I'm going to have meet up here. It's actually kind of ugly, but I don't think I care. That can go across that way. Yeah, all that talking about, oh, I don't want to do this is going to be a pain in the butt, and now I've just solved the problem. Okay, so that is New York. Or I guess I could say hub to New York. Let's make that a thing. So that's going to there, and that is going to there. But we'll keep we'll keep that. So now what that means is my machines from here need to go to the hub. That might... I do have machines going there. That might end up causing more problems than it solves. So actually, this train on the way back to the hub can carry machines. I think it should automatically do that. We will, we'll give that a fair shake. We'll let them take care of that. I don't know where I'm going to get a train onto this from. Do we have a depot over here? No, I do not. Alright. I hate just, you know, continuously build depots. I feel like that's extremely wasteful, but it is what it is. I haven't forgotten that I have to fix that road either. Let's just take care of that after I put in a train here. Alright, it's our friend the GG1 once again. And that needs to have... what does New York actually want? Let's double check that. Okay, they want machines, which go in one of these. They want goods, which go in one of those. They want food, which goes in one of those. And they want bricks, which go on one of those. So I'm going to say 6 boxcars, 2 flat cars. We'll go for that. And we'll call this New York. Well, that's already what it's been named. New York City Mixed Freight Express. Alright. So that should eventually make its way through all of this. And of course, there's nothing on this for the first row. Let's get that pinned. And there we go. Now we just have to wait and see what happens. But that should be able to take care of pretty much all of the demand that they're not getting at all. The machines factory is also not able to keep up with what New York is demanding by itself, so probably we don't need to worry about it. Maybe see about optimizing this. This is a very pathetic New York City, I understand. Oh, and this one has the really short platforms. I always forget. That is hideously ugly. That's going to get replaced at some point anyway. Yeah, see, I can't really extend these platforms at all because of the geometry here. I'm going to keep that up. Okay, so this is actually about to rank up, which means it's going to have more capacity, so I think that's going to be okay. Okay, so there's actually machines that are going to go back to the hub from here. Okay. YouTube just crashed for you. How does that happen? Okay, so we do have items. We've got... they have a dedicated machine factory, and they're still okay. Well, that's working well enough. Everything else will catch up in due time. I wish there was a way to make this go literally any faster, but we're not going to get the 99-mile-per-hour freight cars until like 1999 or 2000, maybe. I think that's when those come in. If the US market stuff even has that, I know the UK stuff does. Just taking all the machines. Alright. Well, that's fine. It is what it is. So, I'm going to consider that to be good enough for right now. The steam trains still have the little steam icon. That's fun. Big boy doing big boy things. Anyway, so that's taken care of a lot. Well, hello. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the map. I thought I was on this other part. Okay, Port St. Lucie is going wild over here. Look at all these people that want to, oh, they want to ride these things all day long, and they don't have enough. They don't have enough capacity. See, that's the problem. Is that I can't actually do anything else with this because it's, you know, been inaccessible for purchase for the past like 20 years. I actually don't know if I can add. There's no reason for that. I can add the bi-levels in totally not Go Transit livery. It's 272 horsepower and it wants me to add a bi-level coach to it. I don't think that's happening. These actually aren't trolleys. These are classified as heavy rail, which is hilarious. But for the purpose of having the trains only playthrough, to get the trains only achievement, you cannot use streetcars in this game. And you cannot use road vehicles for transporting passengers or goods. So anything that moves goods or people here has to be heavy rail, which I probably would not classify this as heavy rail personally, but the game does, so that's what it does. See, part of the fun of doing this is the absurdity of it all. I think this is justified in having multiple trains on it now. And I can duplicate these. I cannot chain them together, but I can duplicate them, and they're just gonna have to figure out their spacing all by themselves. Well, I don't know what kind of thoughts I could have on waiting, because there's nothing I can do to change that outcome, but I am very excited for it. I am extremely excited to get my hands on it, whenever that happens. Where are these people all? Whoa, we got 280 people trying to go counterclockwise. See, this is why we need... Concord counterclockwise. Wait. I have 281 people wanting to go counterclockwise just in town to Concord? Oh, they're probably trying... Whoa! Okay, what's happened here? Why are there so many people? Is this number going to go down? Yes. Okay, they want to go to the train station. That to me says that this is now no longer even remotely adequate. This is going to have to get replaced. These are nice little, you know, around town things, but this ain't working. For now, let's just kind of duplicate this and see what happens. Now, the problem with duplicating this is it has to come from somewhere, and I don't know where that somewhere is, and it's going to end up causing traffic jams. Oh, I don't know where it's coming from. But I guess we'll find out what happens if we have multiple errors. Cargo stop cannot be used by passenger vehicles. Why is it trying to do that? Okay, that should not be happening here. Okay, but that's the passenger platform. I don't know, man. We've done a lot of really weird stuff. I need to figure out where it's trying to send my my little tiny things. I guess I just have to click on all these depots to see if it's caught in there. Doesn't seem like it. Ah! I have 6 of these in Chattanooga. Why? Why do I have 6 of these in Chattanooga? Well, they should be able to get over here to Concord because this has an interchange, right? Yes, it does. Alright, well, let's try this. Let's go to Concord clockwise, Concord counterclockwise. I predict it's going to cause some problems, but... yeah, see, they're going to have to go all the way around and then come out here. I think is how that's going to have to work. So I think maybe this one? Yeah, because that's train 8. I sent train 8 and train 9 out. So those are going to be going at their glacial pace, blocking the high speed from going basically anywhere. Is that 9? Yes, okay, so that's going there. Who else did we say needed a bonus port? St. Lucy's already got it. Having 2 of these in Concord is probably fine. I've got just the 1 here. I thought I was supposed to have a San Diego counterclock. Oh, that doesn't even connect anyway. Who cares? That's fine. Does Peoria have anything? I see nothing in Peoria. So why does it not, though? Alright, well, I guess I need to just go ahead and make one. Okay, so we're going to call that Peoria clockwise. And then I'm going to make it counterclockwise. And I guess we could send a couple of those over there. Now the fun part is getting these to interchange. Because that is not actually the fun part. So that's fine there. I think they can just turn around. The game doesn't care if these are in the way. Okay, I needed to go to Chattanooga. Okay, Peoria. Let's see if it lets me do this. Peoria counterclockwise, and then clockwise. So in a little bit, we should see these guys coming through here. And by a little bit, I mean maybe another 5 minutes. So we will see. We will certainly see. In fact, I'm going to follow this around. Man, why are so many people trying to do this? This is absurd. Okay, that's train 9. Okay, so this is just now. This is just now getting in here. And it is unable to find a free path. Because this is waiting here. That means I need to put in for this. See, I think this is why I didn't want to do this. Was because this was going to create a lot of problems. Anyway, that signal is going to stop this guy here, which means this one gets to come in here. And then it should, yep, turns right around. And then goes there. Okay, we can work with that, we can work with that. Now this is train 10, I believe, yep, going to Peoria. And that shouldn't have any issue just going around the loop here. I should see 11. Ah yes, the Dash 8. With the wide safety cab, which I don't think was a thing in 1989, but that's fine. Actually kind of impressed that this thing is able to do 62 miles per hour. I guess we'll just follow this. So where's my other one? Did that one get stuck? I guess we'll have to check that in a little bit. So we ended up with random loop trains roaming the outside loops. Yeah. I think we're okay now, though. Kind of funny to see the circular transport patterns. These are such walkable villages. Well, unfortunately, I'm an American, so I know nothing about that. Would love to have some, but does not seem to be a priority, unfortunately. Why has this passed... Oh, no, Peoria is actually over here. I was about to panic for a moment. Yep. I probably should put more signals around this outside loop, but there were a couple people that were, like, incredulous that I had not done that. Like, well, I don't know. Me and signals don't really get along that well. We're almost there. And so this should immediately cross over to right here and then turn around. Which, there we go. Now I just need to find out where train 11 is going. There it is. Look at that. See, we did it right. We did it right. Love to see it. Now I got 2 more of these things in the Chattanooga choo-choo land. Why do these people want to go around in a circle so stinking bad? I don't understand. I really don't. It's only this one. You want to go around the outside counterclockwise, which I guess is just now showing up. Yep. And they're going to get on, and then that's all that can hold. The issue with this is not having enough depots. It's that the rolling stock that we're using for that has not been available for purchase in-game for like 20 years. And there is no replacement for it in the heavy rail categories, so unless I wanted to put full-length passenger trains on my inner-city loop routes, I have to clone an existing copy of it, which is why it has to come from specific depots that actually have it. They're all waiting for this. What? Look at this. Look at all these people. They're all waiting for this little dinky thing to come by, and then 20 of them get on, and everybody else is still mad. I'm not actually convinced it's what Concord needs. I think this is just an issue of this station to this station having huge traffic, because this is a cross-map, like, diagonal route, and this is the loop route. So really, it's only the traffic between here and here. These other two, like, this is absolutely minimal. But this is truly absurd. So, for clockwise, if I put 4 trains on the clockwise route, then maybe we'll see what's going to happen here. Okay, so this is... Yep, this is now leaving the Chattanooga depot. I guess we can follow our friends here. Leave them in the other thing. So now this is going to have to wait for the high-speed train to go by, which I don't think is going to be a problem once that leaves. There we go. Well, the loop is still used. You don't want to get rid of that. Okay, where is this? Oh, all the way back here. Okay. Waiting for free path. Why is this not free? What's ahead of it? Is anything ahead of it? Now it's underground. Ah! It's waiting for this guy, who's waiting for that guy to move, be past that signal. But now there's too many, oh, there's too many trains. Too many trains. Because this has a... Yeah, that's the problem, is it's never going to let this in. Because as soon as that happens, there's another, there we go. Took it a while. And that, yeah, that wanted to go to that one, so that's fine. And I should have one more coming up here at some point. I've got a signal before that, and I've got a signal before that. I guess this is fine. This actually has passengers, so we know that actually works. Now we wait. No, I still wanted that. Ugh, that's ugly. Yep, so now this has to wait for one of these to leave the station, I'm pretty sure. And that's going to come through. Yep. Now, this is the timing issue. I'm waiting for this to get out of here. I think as soon as this one passes here, I should be okay. Okay, not quite. Yeah, because now we have these spread out so much, it's hard to find a gap. Probably a good part of this is also just... This is a really long station because it connects to the outside world. I have a signal at the other end of the platform. It's right here. Before the crossover. The problem is now I've got so many of these things coming out that it's not going to probably ever have a way to get out of here. Unless the timing matches up. Because I don't want a signal going the wrong way on the one-way track. As far as I can tell. It's got one there. But this just keeps on. I guess I could put one here, but I don't think that's actually going to help anything. Okay, there we go. So, no idea whether that actually helped or not. But he wanted to go that way, so that's about all we had to do there. Alright, still have 281, wanted to go clockwise. So these are going around the outside. So we're hopefully going to see this go down a lot. But going back and forth between here and here is going to make it impossible to use the other part of the loop, and I don't want that. Eventually this will all catch up. So now the better question is... Oh, I can't see anything on this. Let's just go to City View. Who's got? Akron has nothing. Billings is not getting any goods. So now I guess I should look at this train that's going to Billings. I don't have these all labeled. And I've got stuff at the hub, so I know that's not an issue. Is this the Billings mixed freight? Seems like it probably is. No, it's Indianapolis. Okay. Okay, so this is just empty. It's not getting goods, even though it wants goods. So the thing about the round the outside route is there's not really anything else I can do to it until I get better rolling stock. And that's not going to happen for another 11 years in-game. That's when you get the Acela Express, or what the game calls the Speedance Express, which, what's that? Somebody couldn't get the rights to use the trademark. I want to see if this is going to have any goods on it, because there's tons of goods over here. I guess they're just not prioritizing. Why is that flame so huge? Yeah, no goods. That's sending to Hollywood. Okay, that had an overload indicator, but it went away. San Diego is getting 630. What is happening in San Diego? San Diego does not need 639 units of fuel. That is just completely unnecessary. Go to here, around the outside, down to the bottom. Wow, Clockwise is actually full to capacity. That is pretty impressive. So this is a double-length Metroliner? No, it's a triple-length Metroliner. And I don't have any other option that can go 120 miles per hour. Well, I guess, okay, the Amfleet, which is what the actual name of this is, can go 124, but in terms of... Oh, the toaster, of course. How could I have ever doubted the majesty of the toaster? Okay. So that holds 21. This by itself is 4. Oh. Okay. So this holds 234. It can go 120 miles per hour. If I get rid of that, and I give it a toaster, and then I get this to 230. Okay, that's 231. That's not enough horsepower. It's only got 5,800 versus... Oh! Okay, well... We'll do a toaster on both ends. And this does have slightly lower capacity, but it should still fit at a station, and it should be able to go a tiny bit faster and also get to top speed quicker. And that does, in fact, just barely fit. And then when we get the if we get the Acela in 2000, it'll be a whole lot better. But now I am very interested to see if this improves the rate at all. I probably should have had that pulled up. Yeah, so this is the one we just replaced. Total capacity of 465. Oh, because I had I've got another part of this route that has the Metroliner still. So the rate is down to 194. But that could change. Probably going to take an entire lap to really have an idea of what's happening. And this is not even full either, so I guess that's fine. Yeah, so I need to change this one. Right, now both of the trains on this one line are the exact same. So we should have a better idea when we get to the rate section here. Now, if that has gone down because the capacity per train went down by 3 people, then that's fine. But this is supposed to be just a tiny bit faster, so in theory it should increase it. And now it's just only gone down. Well, it doesn't seem to really matter that much, I guess. But this is the longest train I can actually fit on this. So instead, if I just add a third train to that, then I think what I'm going to have to do is just modify this. And then, of course, these will get replaced in due time. But for now, I think this is about the best I can do. And we'll do the same thing here. Just add a third one. And then I'll just duplicate that. So, it'll balance out in due time. Whole lot of people wanting to get on the train here. And then... oh, look! Our problem solved itself. So it looks like the slight increase in frequency ended up being... Oh, wow. Well, there's your problem. There you go. These people all want to go somewhere. Yeah, I guess they're waiting for counterclockwise. Which the next train on that is... way over there. So I guess that's something we have to deal with later. It is very funny that it just gave me a huge person instead of a ton of little people. Yeah, they're all leaving. Nobody wants to be there. San Diego once again with a baffling amount of fuel being sent their way from the main hub. Look at this giant thing. So I wonder if the game just allocated all of this, and it won't send it away until all of this has been sent somewhere else. Because I know there's other places that want fuel, and San Diego does not need 592 units of fuel. This was 600 something earlier, so I think that's probably got something to do with it. Okay, see, nobody else... I don't think I'm producing enough goods yet. Okay, this is in the final stage here. I just need more stuff coming in. The steel is actually kept up pretty well. I guess I need to check on the plastic. Well, we got plenty of plastic here. I think it's just an issue of all this stuff going to all these different cities. This is just hilarious. No, San Diego's bad. Why is San Diego getting so much? There's no reason for this. There's no reason for this. That is completely absurd. I feel like... Do I just reduce it? Is that gonna do anything? Or is it just not is it not allocating the fuel anywhere else because nobody else wants it? I don't know. That's very strange. Beaverburg, of course, getting basically whatever it wants. These people have that. Vancouver doesn't care. At least they're getting two things. So that's fine. Indianapolis doesn't care. Who else is even getting fuel? Well, West Covina is getting nothing because I don't have a freight rail going there. That is part of the problem of having this giant hub here. So I've got Billings definitely has something going for it. I think all of the cities on this side of the map have been connected cargo-wise. Except Akron. Why is there so much? Wow! Well, there's your problem. Where's the train that goes between these two? That is, Is this actually just one train that does this? I can't remember if that's how I have it set up. Please tell me it's not just one train doing all of this. That's just a stupid way for me to do that. I mean, I've got 2 tracks. Why is this waiting for... Oh, because I didn't... Oh, no. Oh, no, don't ever do this. Don't ever do this. This created an absolute just disaster zone right here. So they have to wait for all their trains to go by. Well, there's your problem. Alright, so we don't need to worry about that. But Billings has... Akron does not. That's what I was getting. Modesto does, somehow. What's going to be the easiest way? I guess put another track here. Why? There we go. The game is starting to get a little bit irritated with me because I have so much stuff built in here. Alright. Cargo, so this will be what goes up to... Oh, the lag. Pembroke Pines has one? Yeah, Akron. Okay. Alright, Akron, where is all of your industry? On this side. So, you will receive fabulous cash and prizes. You're going to get a... you're going to get a thing right there. And that is probably going to be the best spot for this. I wonder if there's going to be a way I can get this to hook up right here. So I can put cargo buildings, I can do a side building here at the very end. I don't have a platform on this other side, which again, it does not matter exactly where it goes, but if I put one here, then I can have a side building that actually connects to a road. And I can get that, just get that brought in here. Oh, that's super ugly, but that's going to get this station connected to that side. This is already connected here. This doesn't have any passenger service, which I wasn't sure was ever going to need to be a thing, but I guess we might as well get this thing going here. So I guess we'll just have this come across, and then we just have to bring this around. So let's... This doesn't actually need to exist right here. This is a terrible spot for it. So that'll help me get this cleaned up. Then I can just go right through here. And then I guess the crossing through here is not going to be that big of a deal, except now it says... of course. Now it says it can't do anything. Ah, that was why. Okay. Well, the good news is I can just come through here, have this be slightly taller, and then... Really? Really? That's not high enough? Are you serious? See, this is why people don't do this. Why they don't play the game only with trains. Let's bring this up to here. Take that back to that. Alright, I'm gonna call that good enough, and then get this in here. Look at that. Absolute nightmare mode. This doesn't have a way to get a train into it, so I will, ironically, need to put in another depot, just so that's a viable thing here. Alright, so that is, they want goods and they want fuel, so that is what they will get. Let's start out with 3 and 3. I'm assuming at some point they might want building materials, so I'll just put a single flat car here in case, and there's nothing they could want with that. Alright. I forgot to build a line between the two. So let's go hub to Akron. We'll call it mixed freight. And then I just have to come in here and send that. Okay, here's your bridge review. This sucks. It's a bad bridge. Bridge review. How do villages in the game work? Do they grow? Yes. You can make them grow. There is a limit. I don't know what it is, but all of these things affect the growth. So there's places that the citizens want to go. They will either take trains or buses or whatever that you give them, or they will drive. They have demands for specific types of goods. I know the game calls a type of goods, which is confusing. But you supply this, and then it'll give a modifier to the target population, and then it'll increase. So a good example to show how this works is to come to Beaverberg here, which has a bunch of noise pollution, emission, whatever you want to call it, which is giving us a minus 30%, but everything else is contributing to enough of an offset where this is now plus 230%. I think the best overall city in our playthrough might... This is such a mess. It might be Concord over here? No, it's not. Well, I don't know anything about what I'm talking about then. Growth percentage-wise, it's Corona. Okay. But it gives you all sorts of metrics to decide what you want to be doing with what. And obviously the idea is to get it to grow as much as possible. And that is partly why a lot of these cities that we've actually started messing with have these ring railroads. Because that is going to allow expansion, except somebody did not put platforms on the other side, so you can't actually go anywhere. Yeah, see, like right here, this has a connection to the other side. They can build on this if they want. They just haven't needed to yet. What's a good example of a city that's actually grown beyond the bounds of that? Probably not too many of them. Yeah, see, none of these are doing it. They're not big enough yet. But I was playing in another playthrough to try and figure out mechanics for things, and I've got a city in one of those that's up to 16 or 1700. So I guess it just kind of depends on, you know, what all you're doing and how well it's going. Okay, so now Akron's up to plus 50% instead of plus 30 or whatever, because they've started getting some of these things. And there's no passengers going anywhere on any of our trains because we don't have any passenger trains that connect here. Currently, we've got the ring all the way around the outside of the map, and there's some cities that have connections between them, like Vancouver all the way diagonally across to Concord has a train line. And then I was thinking about doing one maybe between Hollywood and then West Covina down here, which, you know, if you know anything about Southern California, these aren't that far from each other. But the game just randomly assigns names for things, and it ends up being kind of funny sometimes. But anyway, since this is a trains-only playthrough, we are kind of limited to what kind of connections we can make, just because if everything was connected to everything with trains, then it would probably be almost impossible to build anything else. Yeah, the dynamic growth and demand supply stuff makes this game really interesting and gives it a lot of depth. Now, do I actually understand most of this? No. But it's still fun. Why is San Diego getting so much fuel? It is, I really don't understand why. It does not. San Diego in this game is tiny. I've got no reason why this should be going through so much fuel. I don't have any shipyards or anything. I mean, real San Diego does, but I've got no idea why this is the way that it is. Well, not much I can do about it. It is a lot of spaghetti. So, that's a good question, because which one of these is San Diego? There's tons of fuel. San Diego mixed... Yeah, see, but it isn't even... Oh, okay, I know why. I know why, because I told it wasn't going to get... I was trying to get it to stop taking so much stinking fuel. So, now it's got the ability to do that. Anyway, now we got our big boy right here. It's got 3 tank cars, and it will fill them up on the next trip. I just don't know why it's sending like 80% of all the fuel we're making to the San Diego warehouse when San Diego can't even use like 25% of that. Well, see, the problem is it's still not going to send it 100 at a time. Even if I added more. Because the game has unknowable logic behind all of this stuff, and it doesn't really do a good job of explaining it. So it's going to dump this off. Then we'll follow. I'll add more, and I'll show you. It's not going to... I'll add 3 more. So now it's got a total capacity of like 108. And it might take it like once, but long term it's not going to need that much. This is also just extremely slow. But nothing else we can do. Just hurry up and wait. No, the problem isn't how fast it gets to speed. The problem is that the rolling stock is limited to 75 miles per hour. Another big boy won't help. Alright. So now we got to 108. I'm going to pin this. Because this still says it's got 531. So long term, it's not going to need 108. Somewhere between 108 and like 30 is the actual number that it needs. It is very funny watching these diverge like this. Why is this? Oh, because this splits. That's right. Because I had to combine these into trunk lines. Because I got too many trains. Now, while I'm in this mode, there we go. Let's see what this has to say. Yeah, so even after dropping off 108, it still only went up to 72. Which makes me think the next train that comes through with a full load of 108 is going to get that up to its 112 that it wants. And then it's just going to be like, why are you bringing me so much fuel? God. Well, first of all, that has illegal parts and is not going to appear in the game. I don't know what they're doing with all that fuel, because there's no reason for that. Super tiny. I probably do need to redo that to be an overpass. So maybe that's something I can do. Oh, now, see, now they're getting greedy. Now they want construction material. So that means I've got to give them flat cars. And they didn't even get any construction material because they asked too late. Yeah, San Diego famously home to extremely cold temperatures. Ah, the E60C. good locomotive, but it doesn't go fast enough for the high-speed service. $6 billion, you are correct. And now San Diego also wants goods. See, they get greedy. Now that they demand, it'll take time for things to be shipped from suppliers, but now the demand has been registered in places. Yes, that's exactly how it works. Oh, you know how this game works. I didn't read the name. Never mind. So I guess we're gonna see. Yeah, see, it's not even full of fuel now. It's only taking, Wait, how did it go up without fuel being delivered? That I don't understand. That's fine. Okay, so now that's up to 107. I'm very curious to see what else it's going to bring in. I don't know that cities have any mechanism to store extra product. I don't think the stations will do it. They've already used 34. Jeez. Well, I would imagine San Diego at the hub, as soon as we can actually see it, is going to have some construction material and goods waiting. I just can't get to it yet. Is this? Yes. San Diego has nothing else assigned to it. It just continuously gives them just obnoxious quantities of fuel, where all these other cities want it, but they're not going to get it. So they can't allocate any building material or goods. But this number just keeps going up. Why is it 600? Does not make any sense. And we don't care about that, but yeah. Yep, and it's full again somehow. Alright, well, I don't want to spend any more time thinking about San Diego, so we're going to move on. Why are there so many people over here? Oh, that's not that many. It just looked like it was a lot. You know what? That probably makes sense. 107 workplaces demanding fuel. But there's not, like, I didn't think there were that many workplaces in San Diego. Holy crap. Okay, well maybe that's what it is. Okay, is there anything else I can reasonably do? Because I'm coming up on 2 hours here. I usually try to keep these about 2 hours. West Covina does not have any stuff going to it. I, at one point, had considered making another giant complex of these on this other side of the map. But the more I think about it, the more I feel like I don't need to do that. Because I've serviced, at this point, every city on this side of the map has freight service going to it. And on this side of the map, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, even though I've built a station. 5, 6. Technically 7, but we'll call it 6. Yeah. I got these cities that don't have anything. Flint has this, which is supplying... How did it do that? Okay, it's sending goods on the machine's supply because this goes through New York. Okay. You know, I had never considered that that was even possible, but it's pretty cool the game was smart enough to figure it out. It's using New York City as an intermediary for the stuff going to Flint and then transferring at this station. That is pretty smart. So that means I don't have to worry about that. I've got Miramar, I've got Concord, I've got Port St. Lucie, I've got Chattanooga, I've got West Covina, and I've got Milwaukee that do not have any rail service for rate. Which is pretty wild considering how much just passenger-only stuff has boosted a lot of these cities. I don't think I can fit 6 more freight cars in the San Diego station here. I don't know. Anyway, I've got 6, we'll just call it 6 cities over here that need a thing, and I've got the ability to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got enough. So I could run a track to every one of these other cities. This is, it's got a lot of plastic ready to go. So I guess at some point I'll have to do that. Still not moving logs. No, they're moving. They're just really slow. Probably because this has to go through. Yeah, it's this. It's this that needs to be an overpass. And I can't really do anything about it until these trains are not in this immediate area. So because there's... Yeah, this is just such a long thing. When this one moves and this one moves, I think I'm going to have to tear this out and make it a flyover. And maybe that'll be the last thing we do today. I just have to be able to do it, and this stuff is all in the way. You can't delete track while a train's on it. There's just way too much happening here. Okay. You gonna go? No? Well, I need you to. What in the world is this waiting on? Oh, okay, this thing. Yeah, because all of this has to wait. This entire time this is out of the way. All right, come on. Come on, we got stuff to do. We got stuff to do. Okay, and that's waiting because that's there. Now this is going to wait for this because none of these stop, and they won't stop. There's got to be some. There we go. There we go. All right, now nobody else coming through here on this same cross track. I just need that to clear. There and there. Okay. So I've got coming through here. I've got actually that's just the same. It's all one line. That's exactly what the problem is. Okay. All right, so this needs to go. Very carefully. Get rid of that. Very carefully. Make sure it's only there. Okay. We don't need these signals. So this here needs to come over this way. This needs to come over this way. So I'm going to try to... I know it's... I can upgrade the high speed later. I just need this to go up. And this is probably going to try to fight me. But if I can just get this to go... Yeah, let's get this to go. No, it's not going to work. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Okay, so now this needs to go down as much as it can without actually interfering. Okay, let's try that. I know that's ugly, but... Is that the outside track or the inside track? It's the outside track. Alright. Okay, so let's do that. Check our clearance. That is fine. Then that... I should... Well, 68 miles per hour is probably fine. We'll call that good enough for now, because I'm just trying to solve a problem here. Okay, that's good. Then that can go to there. Alright, so that should really help a lot. Let's see what happens. I don't need these signals here, but I don't want to mess with these because I know we're merging lines for some of this. Okay, these aren't necessary, these signals here, because these were just for crossing. There. That should speed up pretty much everything. So we will see how quickly this gets. Wow, they got going quick. Yeah, see, look how fast this has gotten up to 431. Okay, that was worth doing. That was worth doing. Okay, the Akron train has. Wow. Okay, they've got four types of stuff. I guess that's fine. Now, logs. I don't think it actually can make use of. Why did I? Oh, okay. I was banking on them wanting building materials, but they don't want building materials. Why is this? Oh, it's using this. Okay, hold on. Before I forget, I need to take this off. I need to modify this to have more platforms, because this is actually it's actually caused problems because I got stuff going over there. Okay. So now we've got still a little bit of a backlog here, but it's not quite so severe. I've got two trains on the same line going in shuttle mode between here and here. So that's why that's doing what it's doing, because this merges here. And it should catch up pretty easily. Okay, that's going down. Because I cannot stay away from mess. Yeah, okay, that's still about what I thought it was. I've got extra here. That's basically maxed out. Figured that's what that was. Hollywood is getting 481. Why? Why? Why is there so much going to all these places? Alright, so I guess I have to check on the Hollywood train and see if it's full on. It is. Okay. Well, I was trying not to you know, have to min-max this so much. But I guess I will, I guess I'll just put a whole bunch of cars on it. We'll see what it does. Oh, this is what I get for not actively reading chat. Planning on satisfactory stream anytime soon. Possibly. I was thinking about doing one tomorrow, but I have not been able to 100% commit to that yet. I might still, but I don't want to promise it. Now let's see what this thing loads up, since I added so many extra cars. Okay, it made use almost immediately of nearly all of that. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. In terms of selling train stuff, I am nowhere close to recouping what I paid for things, but it's going about as well as it probably could. Still working on a whole lot of organizing, inventorying, setting up supplier relationships and everything. And that's proven to be a whole lot more of a pain than I thought it was. But, you know, it's a process. It takes time. And I'm starting to make some local relationships happen for people that want to find stuff. So, this is never going to be a super, super fast thing. But I think over time it's going to end up being really good. but it's taken so much work. I've spent, oh man, since October, I couldn't even tell you how many hours. It's been part of the reason why I've only done 3 videos a week for basically all of 2026 has been because I've been spending so much time on this. But I need to be making more videos. Because the amount of time that I'm investing doing the train stuff is absolutely not returning the value in terms of income. It's a whole lot of fun and I'm really enjoying it, but I have to be able to pay for it, which is what the videos that I do on this channel have been subsidizing this whole time. So we'll see. Yeah, it's I'm trying to remember exactly how many individual items, because I haven't even finished putting everything into my inventory spreadsheet, but I'm up to 4,500 individual items, and those 4,500 individual items comprise 2,300 SKUs of things. Some stuff I have like one of, others I have, you know, 5 or 6. There's a couple like really small things, like screws and just like little bits and bobs that I've got 40 or 50 each of, which of course is fun to count all that. Yes, bills absolutely need to be paid, so you're going to see a lot more videos coming on this channel, because that is or at least for 2025 was my primary income, which is amazing to be able to say, but it takes a lot of time to do all this stuff, and finding the balancing act is really hard. I don't know that there's anything remotely that anybody can really do, because I've got to count individual physical items, and then a lot of these things are just like little parts, little detail bits that have been sitting on the shelves in that store before I bought everything out for some of them like 30 years. They don't even have barcodes, because barcodes didn't exist. Okay, well, 96 barcodes existed, but a lot of this stuff is just, it's either so small time in terms of like manufacturing that they just didn't even bother getting UPCs made up for things. So I can't really adequately research things because it's so hard to find information on them. And people online have not been selling these things because a lot of this stuff was made in the 80s or 90s. And it's one of those things that you have a thing that has a sticker on it that says the price is like $4. Is it actually $4? I don't know. But that's what the sticker on the item was that it was $4. So I have to first figure out what the heck the thing is. A lot of the things are not even really labeled that well, because it's just some random thing that someone who's looking for it physically in a store is going to know what it is. But there's like the manufacturers don't exist anymore, and it's so old it's not even on the internet. So you have to figure out what it is, or you have to find someone who knows what it is. Like, oh, well, that's a blah 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 blah. Like, and that costs this much. This is who made it, whatever. And that's the kind of thing that takes a huge quantity of time. And for a one-off item that has a sticker on it that says this is worth $4, it doesn't exactly make sense for me to invest a ton of time into doing that, because it's $4. And if it takes me 5 hours to figure out what it is, and it's like, all right, so I've spent 5 hours trying to figure out information on this $4 item that people might not even want to buy in the first place. But it's there, and I have it, so I want to know what it is. It's that kind of stuff that's taking a tremendous quantity of time. But I've gotten through just about all of it in terms of physically putting my hands on things, seeing what's there, and going through to see what is and is not worth trying to put online, or trying to take to a physical train show, or calling around to people who are involved in the hobby and say, hey, is this something that you'd ever buy, or you're actively looking for? If the answer is no, then a lot of that stuff might just get stuck in a box if it's something that I might want to, have for myself in 20, 30, 40 years, because it's just not worth spending the time to do a ton of more work with it. When I could have something like, say, like a model of a freight car or a locomotive that was made in the last 2 or 3 years, you can find all sorts of information online about that stuff. And people are actively looking for it. It's a whole lot easier to sell. So, very, very long, circuitous answer to your question, but yes, I'm having a good time. I'm also having a long time. And it's taken up a ton of my my time and my energy, and I've had some people, like family and friends who've offered to help, and they've been very, very, very helpful in that regard. But now it's at the point where I've got to really decide what I am and am not going to continue to invest resources in cataloging, putting on the website, and continuing to sell once I have dealer relationships and stuff taken care of. But I'm hoping I can have most of that dealt with by the end of next month, which I know sounds super far away. Well, March is tomorrow, at least where I am. If anyone's watching from Asia, then it's already March. But we'll get it figured out. I'll get all this stuff, the rest of it sorted out, figure out what I need to focus on, not focus on, and then go from there. Because once everything's cataloged and I've got a good idea what is going to regularly sell and not regularly sell, then I can spend a whole lot less time managing it, because it's already going to be inventoried, it's going to be in the system, and then it becomes a thing of, if somebody buys this, then I either decide, am I going to restock it, or if it was a limited time thing, like a special run of something, then I decide what I'm going to replace it with. Yes, other channel. Train stuff. I ended up somehow accidentally purchasing... I didn't technically buy the business, I just bought everything at the business when a model train store closed near-ish where I live. And the guy wanted to retire, and he'd been trying to find someone to take over. He couldn't find anyone to take over, and I said, well, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the expertise to physically take over your store and run it for you, but we can work out a deal. I can take the inventory off your hands and slowly put forth the effort to build my own thing over the next couple months and years, and you can do what you got to do and exit to go retire. So that's essentially what I did, because the Beavers were very good to me in 2025, and I managed to have the capital to make that work. Which is a crazy thing to be able to say, and I'm really, really excited about it. But it's a lot of work. Can you make a web page, Mr. Adams, populated with pictures asking viewers of the page to identify the items? Maybe, but a lot of the stuff is... It's stuff that, like, I have a general idea what it is, but the problem is I don't know... In some cases, I don't know who made it. People aren't going to know who made it either, because it's like, we're talking about scale models of, like, individual locomotive parts, like air horns that go on the top of the cab. And so we're like, oh, well, that's a Nathan K5LA. Is like, okay, so it is. That's anyone who's, like, kind of knowledgeable about that stuff can pretty easily pick those out. But just because that's what it is, it doesn't mean it's going to really work with other stuff that needs that kind of an item as a detail. Because some things are designed to fit in specific brands of locomotives or rolling stock or whatever, and even if it's the right item, it might not work because of how things are differently designed. And especially with mechanical parts. You say, oh, well, I've got a locomotive that has it's got a motor that needs to be replaced. Okay, well, you can theoretically drop in almost any motor into a locomotive model, but if it doesn't have the right kind of tolerances for voltage, it doesn't have the right kind of mechanical connections to, like, gearboxes for the locomotive trucks or anything like that, you can really mess stuff up if you don't know exactly what you're putting in somewhere. Or sometimes you get lucky and it just works, and you don't have to worry about breaking anything. But it's very, very easy to get yourself in trouble if you're not entirely sure of what you're doing. And that's one of the things I really want to avoid. I don't want to just sell somebody something. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know what this is. Go ahead, and then they're like, oh, you broke my $500 vintage brass model of what? No. If I'm going to sell something to somebody, I want to know exactly what it is, exactly what it's used for, and exactly what not to do with it, so that I can tell people, like, look, don't be dumb, because people love to be dumb. That's like rule number one of the world we live in today, is that a lot of people are really just functionally incredibly stupid. And you have to protect yourself from that. And, of course, for some stuff it doesn't matter, because it's like, okay, well, this is a building kit to build this specific type of, like, outhouse or whatever. Like, all right, it's almost impossible for that to go wrong. It's just like, all right, here you go. Give me $1 and you can have that. But yeah, I think part of the deal with Timberborn getting more and more popular is that the larger channels have sucked up a whole lot of the organic viewership for that. Like, I've not had any problems sustaining the channel from that perspective. Like, I've been doing it for so long and I've got this built-in audience already. But say somebody like an RCE or a City Planner Plays, or who else has done videos on this? I think Biffa might have done a couple. They can post one video, and in that single video, they will get a couple 100,000 views, which is about as much as I will get across an entire 30-episode series. They'll get that in one video. So, in terms of discoverability on search organically, I don't show up as well as I used to. So that, I think, does kind of preclude the channel from growing too much more. But the built-in audience that I already have is still good enough and numerous enough where this is a sustainable thing for me to keep doing. And of course, Mechanistry has sponsored me before for the release of Update 6, I think it was, with the vertical terrain and all that. But from a perspective of doing what's the term I'm looking for? Risk versus reward from a business perspective in terms of marketing, it really doesn't make sense to throw money at tiny channels when you can pay someone like an RCE or somebody to do like one video and you'll get 500,000 people exposed to your thing that haven't seen it before, versus the guy that's made, at this point, I don't know, 800 videos on the same game, and they do reasonably well. I average probably 3,000-4,000 views a video across all the Timberborn content that I've done, but it's mostly the same people watching that. Like, I don't think anyone new is getting exposed to the game from watching my content. Like, very, very rarely does that happen at this point. But I've got 70, 80, 90,000 unique people who have watched my stuff. And a lot of them have said, oh, hey, I really liked the game. I ended up buying it because of your video, which is awesome. That's really fun. But anyway, very long answer to your question. I don't know that I really have the ability to enhance the game any more than I've already done in terms of exposing new people to it. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am like really anybody who knows what I'm doing when it comes to making stuff on YouTube. Like, I deliberately avoid sponsors. I deliberately avoid editing my videos, and I deliberately avoid trying to chase the algorithm. I just want to have a good time playing the games that I'm doing, which is why I choose what I do and why I'm sitting here on 2.5 hours into a stream on a game that is, what, a decade old at this point, I think? Like, I'm having a great time doing this, and obviously you guys like watching it, and I'm always grateful to have you here. But it's a bit different from, you know, someone like RCE who has a family, has a staff, has a whole company, and every single day that guy is out there playing all these different games, and he's got people that edit everything down into these 20-30 minute videos, and he gets huge numbers on them. I'm one guy with 5 different jobs, one of which happens to be playing video games on the internet. So, like, we're not even in the same ballpark. And we don't have to be, and that's okay. But I think people don't always understand what goes into running YouTube as a full-time job. I have been unbelievably fortunate to be able to have what I have with as little time as I'm required to put into this. So sometimes when people say stuff like, oh, well, it really bothers me that creator XYZ got so many more views, like, you know, honestly, they probably worked a whole lot harder than I did. to make my stuff. You know, so like I don't like it when people disparage other creators, because everybody is different. Every single channel on this platform approaches things differently, and there's people who will put in 100 hours a week and never, ever get more than 1,000 views on a video. Then there's people like me that'll spend, you know, 2-3 hours making a video, minimally edited, where most of that time is just keeping up with how many people are on the Beard Booster list, which there's 1,800 names on that list. And I go in and I check the position on all of them every time I do a video. That takes more time than actually recording the video. But even so, I spend that little time and I get so many views on these videos, and it works out to where I'm able, because I live a very frugal lifestyle, I'm able to support myself doing that. And that is not a normal thing. It is extremely, extremely not how this works. But it manages to work for me, and I'm really, really thankful that that's a thing. So long story short, YouTube is complicated. And there's a lot of reasons why different videos do well, different channels do well. And you can't really predict it. It just kind of has to happen. So, I guess just be nice to people. You know, it's fine if you don't like somebody's videos. Fine if you don't like my videos. That's always allowed. But I do wish people would be a little bit kinder when talking about things like this. Yeah, RCE he usually doesn't get to updates very quickly because he's doing different videos every single day. And he records stuff way in advance. So he might be like a couple weeks or a couple months behind in terms of Timberborn updates sometimes, just because he'll record most of his series in like a weekend or something. So he can space episodes out and do all these other things. And he's got like multiple millions of subscribers. He's got tons of stuff going on. But because I'm that weird guy who only plays the Beaver game and I record my videos the night before they go up, I get to have the extra agility to do that, which I think contributed a lot to the early success of my channel. Because I would be the first one to put videos up. So if you searched Timberborn new update, for most of the past 4 years or something, I would be the first 5 videos on the page. So then, of course, people are going to click on it. Isn't a zero-sum game? There's space for all types. Absolutely. Much prefer content that lifts others up over putting people down. I 110,000% agree, and obviously you know because you've been here forever. But it's very important to me, especially in the world in which we find ourselves today, to try and do something that makes people's lives even a tiny bit better, rather than focusing on negativity or whatever. Because God knows we have way too much of that already. But yeah, I'm grateful for you guys, the 41 of you who are concurrently viewing what has, for the past 10-15 minutes, not even been any gameplay at all, just following this one train around while I've been talking about the philosophy of YouTube. Yes, kindness is free. It costs you nothing, except sometimes a bit of pride, but you know, pride's not really that good of a thing anyway. I don't think. Feel free to disagree. That's always allowed. But I'd much rather live my life in a way that is going to help other people, possibly at the expense of myself, than the other way around. I couldn't sleep at night if I knew that I was taking advantage of people to try and get ahead. So San Diego, speaking of, still does not have all the fuel that they need. But it's grown a little bit. We come back over here, and yeah, see, this is down to 176. This is a much, much better... Stop moving around. Much better way of having... Alright, I can't have this up. Much better way of dividing things, what I'm trying to get at. How are we doing in Akron over here? Okay, they're getting everything. Not everything, but they are getting some of everything. New York has everything. Flint has part of everything. Oh, now San Diego wants goods. Okay, well, they have the ability to put that, so that should be fine. What else? I probably do need to end stream here in a little bit. I want to make sure I'm not missing any more questions here. Lions are cool. I support those prides. I agree. As a content consumer, it's really interesting to hear the perspective from creators that's actually genuine. Yeah, and that's not to say that not all creators are genuine people, but at a certain point when you get big enough as a channel to where you have other employees, and I think your priorities have to shift. You've seen it in, for example, Linus Tech Tips, who I've been following since basically the beginning, like 2010, 2011, when he's was first like starting to leave NCIX. His stuff has changed so much. He's got over 120 employees now. He owns multiple millions of dollars of real estate. He's got like a multi-million-dollar manufacturing business for products, which that is absolutely outstanding. Like a tremendous amount of work from him and everybody at his company. But it's not the same as you got Linus, then you got Luke or whoever was holding the camera in 2011, and they're filming the review of the Antec Landboy Air on a bench outside of the NCIX office or whatever it was. I think that was the first video I saw. When you make the choice to go into a more corporate type of video production, which, hey, guess what? I went to school for that. But you make the choice to go to these kind of things, and you have to put other things aside. And I think the authenticity, the one-to-one creator to viewer, I hesitate to say relationship because then you get into kind of the parasocial weirdness that has also kind of infiltrated a lot of the internet. But you lose something when it stops just being one person doing one thing and focusing on that. And that's not to say it's bad, but it's definitely different. And you have to make a choice as both a producer and a consumer of content, what your priority is going to be. I always tend to prefer a simple, more authentic style of stuff. Like these people that make these travel videos where they don't even narrate anything. They just put subtitles up on the screen and they film it with their iPhone or whatever. Sometimes that's more entertaining to me than people who bring in these giant like cinema cameras and they've got multiple cameramen and they've got editors and production companies and they got all these sponsors to subsidize. Like, well, I flew first class in the $30,000. Okay, well that's cool. It's still a neat thing to see, but it's always going to be more interesting to me personally to see just one guy with an iPhone and today I'm taking this train, I'm taking this ferry from here to here, and here's the food that I ate or whatever. That's what is most interesting to me. And as things have kind of evolved, both on and off YouTube, the past 5, 10, 15 years, I keep finding myself going back to that kind of content. So that's the kind of stuff that I want to make. I want the authenticity of just somebody playing the game, having a good time with it, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and just enjoying a community, rather than I'm going to invest all this time and money into like metagaming everything and like, hey, that's still fun to watch, but I'm probably not ever going to do that. Big Stack D, yep. There's a whole bunch of people that do this kind of stuff, and it's I can't believe how many times I'll just randomly come across somebody with like 1 million subscribers who makes really, really good content that I had no idea even existed. Yep, homestead content's really interesting. There's a guy, I don't know that it's really homestead content so much as it's just like a guy just like making neat stuff in the woods. My Self-Reliance, a long time ago, got on his videos. Let's see, Outdoor Boys, that kind of stuff. And then you got guys like Steve Wallace who do the camping videos, where it's just, all right, here's a guy, here's like a stealth camper that he made with a cargo trailer, a couple pallets, and some security cameras. It's like, I love stuff like that. It's just a guide. It's just guys being guys. Guys being dudes, whatever you want to call it. It's cool. That's the kind of authenticity, and in some cases, when I use the term intimate personal vulnerability, I need you to understand what that means in this context. But I think we can all agree we understand what that is. Oh God, I love Post 10. I've been watching him for how long has he even been making videos? Like 10 years? He is so interesting. And I found out the other day he's only like 24 years old, 24, 25. Or he's in his mid-20s at least. It's like, this man has been making videos. And hey, beavers, you know how this goes. This man's been making videos unclogging culverts and going camping in the middle of winter in a tent with a stove inside of it for like a decade. And he gets just gobs of views. Unbelievable quantities of views. And I almost never see anything negative in his comment section, whether that's because he moderates it or people downvote idiots. It's just a guy having fun. And he's really authentic. He's really honest. He's hardworking. He's got a lot of really interesting stories to tell about things, and he's got like 5 channels. It's not just the unclogging of the camping. He's got like wildlife things. He does like unboxings, reviews, like tastings of like old food, MREs, stuff like that. He's just a really cool dude. I love YouTube, man. It's like, why would I pay $150 a month for cable to watch absolute garbage slop when I can just watch YouTube? And I've got all these really neat people that are just, having fun, telling people about what's going on in their life and all these different things they're doing. Styropro, yep. I just saw the video this past week or whatever of all those oh god, now I can't remember what it was. Like all the car batteries chained together to try and like melt stuff or whatever that was. Neurospicy people with the camera and tech skills are a gold mine for content. You got that right. Oh man, and now I'm actually out of time, which is unfortunate, but I think we've finally solved the San Diego problem. Now that this is under 100 fuel. Peoria wants a whole lot of food, huh? Well, anyway, stuff's working out. We've made some nice improvements. It's 1995 in the game, and in about 5 years in game time, we will have the Accel Express, which is going to replace the outside stuff, and maybe the diagonal cross thing here. Yeah, I do apologize. I do have to go and take care of some other things. But I am very glad you chose to join me today for this. Have a great rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon for this. And maybe Satisfactory tomorrow. I can't promise yet, but I'm going to try. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.